What's up, everybody? This is Phil Rogacki.
And I'm Jared Abergina.
You're listening to Two Tree Guys Podcast. What's up, everybody? Phil Rogacki here, guys. Another episode of Two Tree Guy Podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in, listening, downloading the show, wherever you guys may be at. Hope you guys have a safe, wonderful, amazing day, or hope you guys had a safe, great, wonderful, amazing day. But hey, if this is the first time you ever listen to the show, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. You know, my buddy, Jared Abergina, who's not on the show, is my co-host, even though he's not on the show a lot, but that's okay. But man, we have different episodes on the show. It's not just hearing us talk and shoot the shit. We bring industry badasses in to come hear their story. Everybody has a unique, special story, and this is the place they can share it to the entire world, entire industry. We have our safety talk, talking about different incidents, things happening in the industry. How do we improve? How do we become safer? How do we make our industry better? We have our gear talk, talking about different products coming out, different things. How do we improve them? What do we like? What do we dislike? This is no good. Don't use this. This is great. You know, whatever it may be, you guys get to get educated on that. And then today we have our training talk. We're going to be talking about a few things with a Miss Julia from Charlotte, North Carolina. Whoop, whoop. Love Charlotte. Love it. Julia Hennessy, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. She's been drinking a little Hennessy. It's gonna
not
be
yet.
fun. Not yet. But later. And then we have our full length. We come in our studio, we drink beer, we high five, we talk about some cool stuff. But before we get started on the show, guys, you know the fee. I say it every single time. If you're going to get something out of it, if you learned something, if you liked it, if it made you laugh, share it. Pay the fee. Nobody's paying for this. We pay for this out of our pocket. Pay the fee. Send it out, tag us in it. We would love to do this because this is how the show grows. This is how we're able to travel and put on these shows and buy more equipment to be able to bring this to you guys. So that's all we ask for that. And if you guys don't like it, if you don't get anything out of it, you didn't learn anything, do not share it. Don't do it at all. So Julia Hennessy from North Carolina at Heartwood Tree Service. A little training talk. You're the PHC manager. So over the last 3.5 years, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And you got some stuff to teach us. You learned some stuff. You've grown in the business. So let's dive in. Let's go. Where are you at?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm born and raised from Tallahassee, Florida. But I moved up here in 2020.
You got a little twang.
A little bit.
A little twang. I hear it. I know.
But I moved up here in August of 2020 to really dive into my arboricultural career. And my journey has led me now to become the plant healthcare manager after being a plant healthcare technician, specialist, and found myself in this position with my company. And I'm very excited. Just such a fun industry to be in.
How long have you been in this industry?
So it really just started when I moved up here. And
what made you want to get in this industry? I know this ain't what's your story. We're going to hear what's your story. We're going to do some training, but why? Sure. Why this out of everything you can do? I've
always been an outdoors man, working in music festivals outdoors, doing landscaping and my own, Florida, North Florida especially.
What part of North Florida?
Tallahassee.
Oh, Tallahassee.
Yeah.
That's right. You said
and
that.
That's, within reach is the beach, the rivers, the springs.
I used to live in Pensacola.
Okay, yeah, so not far away at all. Absolutely. And just enjoying nature, being out in it. And so having the opportunity to kind of use that as a platform for your career and be, proud of what you're getting into and actually make money doing something where you can be outside all the time and get involved in a positive way. It was just a no-brainer. So I'm happy to be up here and getting involved in this industry for sure.
Good. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about your position, things you've learned, all the way to train these people. Train some people listening right now that may want to get into plant healthcare, different products, what you've learned, the mistakes you made.
Absolutely. I tried to think about all the ways that I learned through where I am now over the last 3 years to think about what I would have liked to have known jumping into it and what was taught to me over those, 3.5 years that helped me out greatly. And then what I've learned since then so that now as I'm training new employees, getting them, starting them where I am now and then using all those things I wish I had known to train them right off the bat. And I've already seen that they've kind of excelled so much, quickly than I even did to start.
And that's the way it happens. The way you learned, the way you grew, it might have taken you 3 years, but you are taking all the stuff that didn't work and the mistakes you made and getting rid of it. So you start shortening how long it takes somebody. And, in our industry, sometimes we think it takes 5 years to get to this point because that's what everybody did. It took them 5 years. And I see the time shortening for individuals to become masters at what they do or at a level like where you're at right now in a very short amount of time. It doesn't take you 20 years.
Right.
Doesn't
now,
have to.
Good trainers really make a huge difference. Good mentors. I didn't get to where I was without the incredible mentors that brought me here.
Yeah.
But then, of course, it still does take it. You can read anything out of a textbook or online, but having that experience and really getting out there, that you still have to take that amount of time and then use all that mentorship and those reading materials to get you there. But yeah, I like to think we can shorten that gap a little bit longer. All of us that have taken all this time and experience to get to where we are, we can just condense that and be like, here's all this now, like run with it and be better than I was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a lot of
just
interesting points that I
want to hear it all.
I can bring to the table, like things that I find very useful in my day-to-day life and things that I find useful, especially as I'm training particularly a new employee that we just brought on, and he's just been so successful and it's just exceeding our expectations. And I think I can kind of bring some of this stuff to the podcast and share this with the world.
This is it, guys. Listen up, pay attention. If you're in the plant healthcare world or just in training and having employees and people underneath you, there's going to be some tips and stuff. So I'm excited to hear about this.
All right. Well, in no particular order, a lot of one of the more fun things that I do, I mean, a lot of it is fun, frankly, but one of the more fun things that I do is tree inventories. And then also just in general, being able to identify plants and just general identification of pests and diseases is very important with what we do. But in having to suddenly identify every tree that you're surrounded by when you're having to do these inventories for developers and you're having to put them on the map and really you need to be accurate. Sometimes it can be overwhelming to just suddenly have to have the knowledge of what is the species, what is the variety of this species. Sometimes it can be really overwhelming. And so absolutely, as you continue in this career, you start looking at trees over and over again, plants over and over again. It'll start to become more natural to you. But every now and again, you're going to see something that you don't recognize, or maybe you see something, but there's like a little bit of you that's thinking, I'm just not sure. There's an app called Picture This that I pay for. You can have the free version, but there's a $20 a year. It's just a plant identification app. It's as you get more comfortable with tree ID, this is very helpful to confirm your suspicions on what you think the species might be, also to help with unusual variations. So Picture This. It's in the app store.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one. There it is right there, guys. You're looking at it. I have Picture This. If you want to identify birds, you want to identify mushrooms,
Absolutely.
You want to identify whatever, this thing, the thousands and thousands of pictures been uploaded in this, and it can identify it, and it's pretty freaking accurate.
It's pretty accurate.
It's pretty accurate, and if not,
apps,
take a different picture. Different angle from that.
Of the
tells
bark,
you
of the
diseases.
leaves.
It tells you so much, and then you can save that in your database. So you create your own garden of different trees that you get to share. I love it. I use it for everything. I don't even use it to identify trees just to do it. I use it because I like it. I like to learn that.
It's almost like Pokemon. Collect them all.
I know. Right? I'm like, especially I go to Costa Rica or different places in the world, and I want to collect these trees.
Absolutely.
I know. I started nerding out over it. So sorry, I got excited when she talked about Picture This because I'm a big fan.
Just a great resource.
That is good.
I mean, I as comfortable as I feel now with all the experience I've had with identification, it's still good to just confirm, even if you have just a tiny question. Oh, it says the same thing. All right, you should feel pretty comfortable.
And it's not just about the tree. It's also you're learning everything about the tree, where it's from. Is it invasive?
It provides all kinds of information
diseases.
underneath that.
So great thing. great input. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. So another incredible, valuable resource is Rainbow Ecoscience. They are here at the conference today. Patrick Anderson is one of our very valuable connections. He actually used to work for Heartwood Tree Service and really built the foundations of what the plant healthcare department there is. And now he works at Rainbow Ecoscience, which is just such a wonderful company. And that is where we actually source most of our products for pests and fungal diseases and all kinds of other products that you could need in the plant healthcare industry.
And if you have questions on something like that, or you may not know or can't, you can just send it right over to him and they're going to fill you in and help you out.
Absolutely. I mean, the entire Rainbow Ecoscience team, you can go to their support page and just send them an email or give them a call and they'll be able to answer your questions. But even on your own, you can go to their website. You can Google, Rainbow Ecoscience, and you'll find their website, and they have an education tab at the top, and they have multiple things listed there, but most importantly, they have application videos. So if you have a question about appropriate, technical ways to actually apply the product, you can watch a video so that you're not feeling like, oh, am I applying it the right way? Am I using the right rate? Whatever. You can watch these videos. They also have webinars, and they have all kinds of other educational opportunities.
And they'll come out and visit you.
Yep.
They'll show you.
Yep.
They'll train you in the field. I don't care if it's 2 people. They will take the time and show you. So don't feel you're alone in this world.
It's
They're
absolutely
there to help
true.
you.
Yeah, I am actually due for Patrick and his team to come by our shop to do a little educational session for us directly at our shop. So it's absolutely true.
Yeah, they will. They'll come out, teach you anytime, and also they'll provide lunch. They provide breakfast. They do. So just ask for that, and they'll make sure they get that for you.
So in the same vein of Rainbow Ecoscience and all the products that they offer, as a plant healthcare technician, you know that the label is the law. That's kind of a quote that you might see every now and again. But as it can get overwhelming with knowing what pests you're treating for, what product you need to use, what time you need to use it during the year, what the rate is of application, and just being able to utilize that resource, because most of these labels can be found online. And then you can also go to the Rainbow Ecoscience website to find those product labels, and just familiarizing yourself with how to skim through a product label that might be 20 pages long, but just to be able to find that one bit of information where it says, oh, if you're treating for this pest on this tree, it's this many ounces with this much water, or whatever it is. That is such an important thing. So one of the things that I provided to my new technician that we just hired recently, while he was waiting to actually have his start date, was, here's this website, go read through all the product labels so that you can just sort of start to feel comfortable. It's overwhelming, but if you just read through them, you'll start to get the gist of how those labels are kind of laid out to explain all the things they need to say on that label.
And it makes you probably smarter than 80% of the people doing this, just because most people do not read the manuals. They do not read how to use it.
Absolutely.
And on this, when you say, to go online and find this information, it's not just how to apply it. It's also, what if this splashes in your eyes? What if you spill it? What do you do with that? And that goes to any product that you're using, not just in plant
household
healthcare.
Products.
WD-40,
any
any chemicals, and you need that information on your trucks if you're carrying that, and you an inspector wants to inspect that. So not just plant healthcare, that's every chemical, anything you're using, and go right online and Google it and have all the information you need.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. I think, we are here at the TCIA conference 2023. And, it's important to recognize the opportunity that you have here when you come, right? I mean, you have the TCIA conferences, the ISA conferences. You even have the North Carolina Urban Forestry Council for where I'm from. Not only do they have webinars and in-person educational opportunities very often, they're often at either free or at a very low cost. So that's something, TCIA, ISA, Urban Forestry Council, use that as a resource to know that, there's all year long, if you have a rain day, if you're just hanging out at home and you're just really, dying for some tree, information just to listen to, you can dive in, and oftentimes it's associated with CEUs as well to continue with your ISA certification or what have you.
Or if you have a rain day and you're at home, you can listen to the podcast.
Absolutely.
All,
that's
200-300 episodes. Yeah. Just sit home and listen to me talk all day long. It's so awesome. You'll love it.
Sounds like a dream.
It sounds like a dream. Now, let me go back. You talked about, ISA and the trade shows and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you look for when you come here as, a PHC manager, having a team with you? You've been to a lot of these shows. So what are the things you're looking for? The new products? What do you say? What are you discussing with these companies?
Well, this kind of dives into something that I was also going to mention, which is keeping up to speed, right? Keeping up to pace with the new information that is being brought to the table each year, because it's really important to keep in mind to not stay in a bubble and to not stay comfortable with the way things are just because it's been successful the way you've been doing it all along. Because things are always changing, and you can be left behind as the new science emerges in the plant healthcare industry or in the tree care industry as a whole. So just utilizing these resources here. There's so many amazing people surrounded by you when you come to these conferences and these expos to really take advantage of having good conversations with them. Get their phone number, get their email, use them. Create good relationships so that you can later on, when you're back at the office or back in the field, you have a question about something, you have somebody you can reach out to answer those questions, because they'll be happy to help you. Otherwise, when I'm here with my team, we're recruiting. It's a fun place to be, where you can meet so many amazing people from across the country that are looking for great opportunities to maybe move to where you're located. I'm just looking for what's the new science, what's the new scoop. I've been maybe using the same product for a while to treat for a certain thing, or maybe there's a new pest that's rolling through that we need to be aware of, or things like that. It's just, there's a wealth of knowledge and resources out here that it's just either you can come out here and have fun and just sort of let it wash over you, or you could come out here and really make the most of it.
Or do both.
Yeah, which I'm trying to do. I am trying to have a lot of fun and and enjoy myself.
Building relationships out here is important. And let me go back to what you said is, some people that have been in the industry, maybe in the plant healthcare field, is there maybe be content out there or complacent. Complacent with, this is how what works, this is what's always worked. But our industry is ever so growing, and new innovations and new technologies and new products are coming out. You guys got to keep up on this. You got to keep up on it, not just for your company, but for your customers. A new pest, a new disease, it's ever so changing, soil conditions to new fungal disease. All that. So stay up to date for not only for yourself, for your team, but for your customers that you have on there, and talk to the people, see what's going on, innovate with them, test some products, be a part of this, have them partner with you on some of this stuff. It's very important out here. And, building long-lasting relationships like you have at Rainbow.
Absolutely.
They're there, they got your back, they're always willing to help you no matter what, even if you're not buying products from them, because they like you.
Yeah, those relationships that you create with your clients, as you said, are just so important, because they're relying on you to use the education and the skills that you have so that they can trust you to actually provide them with this service, which can often be expensive and often be complicated to the layman, as far as the science that goes into the products that we use and the timing that we do it. And we're going to use a new product, just trust me. But they'll trust you if you've developed that relationship with them, and they've, especially, it's so exciting to have been treating a particular client's yard over the last number of years.
So satisfying.
And then suddenly, you see the response. You see, the pests are starting to go away. The trees are starting to become healthier between the different treatments that you've been doing. And they're finally like, oh, this isn't just this magic thing where you're charging me money and I'm not seeing, it actually is showing something. And so, sometimes having developed those relationships with them to build that trust, because sometimes it does take up to a year before you really see some serious visual evidence that things are getting better, and they can really trust you when you develop that relationship with them.
And in plant healthcare, guys, we think a lot of the times the answer is the chainsaw, right? But I always give an example. Every time I go to the doctor, he says, hey, you need to lose weight, you need to exercise, stop smoking, stop drinking, stop living the life you have so you can live longer. That's usually what he says. It's not, he doesn't really say it to me, but you know what I mean? It's not, hey, we got to cut this arm off, cut this leg, cut this finger. It's not surgery every time. It's the plant. It's the health. It's what I'm putting in my body and how I'm taking care of it. So when it comes to plant healthcare, the chainsaw is the easy part. We can cut something.
Yep.
But man, if you guys aren't into plant healthcare, if you're not diagnosing trees and giving a better solution than just the chainsaw, get into it. I'm telling you. Reach out to Rainbow. Reach out to a lot of these companies that are out there and start learning. Not only do you help your customers and help the trees out a lot more, but it actually brings a lot more profit to your business so you can grow and expand. And by growing and expanding, guess what? You get to help out more people. You get to make more money. It all works together. Plant healthcare is the key. Some of the most successful companies we have in our industry, plant healthcare.
Absolutely.
And if they could do 100% plant healthcare, they would.
Yeah, and not to say that using a chainsaw isn't part of the whole, right? Because there's oftentimes that, well, first of all, on your subject of maintaining business, right? Yeah, if you cut the tree down, well, there's no more money to be made on that tree, not to look at it just severely on money and whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, if you're able to keep that tree alive and not have to cut that tree down, let's provide some plant health care, treatments on it. But also in conjunction, you want to have a routine pruning plan. If you have a tree that maybe is overextended with some heavy branches over their house, you want to have a risk mitigation plan of if you're keeping that tree alive, then you need to maybe prune some of those heavy limbs. But then maybe you also add Cambistat tree growth regulator, and you also do a fertilizer program. But so, chainsaw, not always the only answer. Not always the only answer, but definitely something to keep in mind. I'm the plant healthcare industry is so successful, but I often find it seems to be that it needs to be in conjunction with the kind of general tree work world, because if we're out there doing the tree work, then they're also like, oh, well, what's also going on with it? Well, hey, we got a solution for that, you know?
Yeah.
So
Good. Well, listen, how do people find you? Anything else you want to say to the world? Follow you, Instagram? What do you got?
I have been of late kind of off the social media. I should probably
We're going to take a picture. I'm going to tag you in a minute. So
yeah, we got,
get it started back up again.
We got my Instagram on here, so I'll go ahead and plug that. It's at Hennessy Julia. Hennessy
Spell
like
it.
the cognac, all right?
Okay.
HENNESSYJULIA. You can find me on Instagram, request me.
Yeah. If you guys have questions, reach out to her. I'm sure you're willing to help,
Please do, yeah.
Even if you just want to discuss and talk about some things, put it out there.
Yeah, that's, I think, the driving point of maybe what this conversation is about is like, it's all about a continual conversation. Use the connections that you have. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't know the answer. Reach out to people. Don't live in a bubble. We're all in this together. And it's, I find that this industry especially is, less competitive in the sense of we're afraid to keep proprietary information to ourselves and more willing to actually share the information of the ways that we're finding things to be successful in our own careers, to share that with the rest of the world, because we do want to have a well-rounded kind of tree industry out there in the world, and we're always happy to help one another.
That's it, guys. You've heard it. Training talk, with Julia Hennessy, giving some just pointers and tips and some direction to some great apps and things to do in our industry. So I appreciate you sharing that today. Love to have you back on the show. And guys, if you're listening to this, remember the fee. Pay it. Share it after we get done with this. And the last thing I always end the podcast with is let's continue to elevate the standard of our industry through safety, training, and innovation. Till next time, peace. See you guys.
Ya.
Bye.